gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of El Local. I'm your host, Eddie Gonzalez, and today we have our current mayor, City of Watsonville, Vanessa Quiroz Carter.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
That's a mouthful right there, Vanessa Quiroz Carter.
Yes, and that's not even including my middle name.
Really? Oh, snap. You Mexican, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We have a bunch of names.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Got those names are like Guadalupe, Maria, de la Cruz, de la something, you know? Welcome. I'm excited about this.
Thank you.
I mentioned to some people that I was going to bring you onto the show, and they're like, really? No way. They were like excited. I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm doing something right if people are getting excited about the person that I'm bringing on.
I hope they're listening. I hope they're watching.
Yeah. Yeah, this is awesome. You are currently the City of Watsonville mayor.
I am.
You are on the council.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to have that conversation. We're going to explore that.
Okay.
You know?
Let's explore.
Yeah. But you're from Watsonville, right?
Mm-hmm. Born
okay.
and raised.
Born and raised?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to get into your journey and your childhood and kind of growing up
my
in
childhood.
Watsonville.
Oh.
Not. I'm not trying to Dr. Phil you here.
This might get a little dark. No, just kidding.
My deep, but just your experience growing up, like your memories. I know I have a lot of conversations with people about some businesses, some locations. It's like, what? I didn't know that existed.
Oh, yeah. I want to talk about close time.
Yeah. I talk to people. I don't know if you remember, but I could still remember vaguely when I was younger. You could swim in Pinto Lake.
Really? I don't remember that.
Very vaguely.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like stuff like that I have conversations. People are like, I didn't know that. The levee used to be,
Yeah.
all the old timers tell me the levee used to be swimmable.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it isn't.
I could see that. There's like
Yeah.
little spots where I've thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
Music Madness. I want to talk about that one too.
Oh yeah, Music Madness. That is old school right there.
Yeah.
That's good times.
Yes,
good
the
times.
children do not know about Music Madness.
Do you guys even know what a CD is anymore? Really, to be honest,
I don't think they do.
what is that? But living in Watsonville, growing up in Watsonville, what was your pastime? What was it like growing up? Where did you grow up? What part of Watsonville?
The library.
The library.
No, so I live by the high school, Lincoln for life. I've lived there pretty much my whole life. But when I was a kid, I would go to the library a lot because I didn't have a great home life. So I would go to the library or I would go to the schools and just like hang out and sit on the monkey bars, play basketball with my cousin. But the library was like my second home. And at that time, the library was next to Cabrillo. So it was like the old library.
That old one.
I can like close my eyes and I can still see everything about it. It's like etched into my mind.
It had a smell to it.
It did.
The smell of books.
Yes.
Yes, that
Old
old
books.
yes, I remember that.
I love that smell. It's so nostalgic for me. But yeah, I would just go and hang out and read books in the library. That's really where I spent most of my time. So I am not kidding. Like at the last council meeting, I said, give the library more money. And I'm serious. Give them more money. Like I spent my childhood there.
Yeah, and I agree with that because nowadays everything's on tablet and kids are all on their phones. It's like, no, like take it back to when you had to flip a book open.
Yeah, there's just something about, I mean, I have a Kindle, but there is something about reading a physical book that's just like, it's so comforting.
And I have a conversation with people all the time about the newspaper, print. I love the newspaper. I miss print.
Me too.
But everything's on the phone. We're like so far in the future that's like.
Yeah. Catalogs and zines, that's what I miss. The Delia's catalog, all the zines that were in like the 90s. Oh, that was the time.
Yeah.
I don't think the kids know what the zines are.
I don't even know what the zines are. What?
A zine was like it was like they were like guerrilla magazines. So they were like, people, artists and writers would make these little zines about whatever topic, like feminism or, whatever they wanted to make them about. And they were just like cool little things that they would publish, and they were, you know, like an alternative to magazines, because at the time magazines were super popular, and the magazines were all like diet culture and like, you know, commercialism, consumerism. And so zines were sort of like an alternative to that.
Were they kind of small?
Yeah,
Oh,
they were
okay.
kind of small, and they were, yeah, they would like had poetry and art, and it was great. I love the zines. Bring back the
Bring back the
zines.
zines. Maybe I could start that or something.
Yes, I would be
You know,
interested.
El Local zines.
Yes, I would be a contributor. I'd love that.
That is so cool. So your fondest memory was going to the library. What businesses do you remember?
So I talked a little bit about this, but Close Time was like the coolest store that has ever existed in Watsonville. It was so cool. So it was like a 90s clothing store. And I remember like all the prettiest girls worked there, all the popular girls shopped there. I did not shop there because I was not a popular girl. But that was the spot. Like I remember fifth grade, I was like so scared to go in there and shop, and I was like, you know, and when you're 10 or 9 in fifth grade, and you see all these like high school girls working, you think they're so cool. And
The popular kids.
yes, same with Music Madness. Music Madness was another one, and I remember you could go in there and you could listen to CDs before you bought them. And I remember like listening to like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
That was great
Britney
because yeah, so many.
Spears.
I mean, I would go in and listen to an entire album. Like, no, I'm not gonna buy it. Thank
Yeah.
you for.
And it was cool. It was like, it was the cool, and they didn't care. They were like, yeah, dude, you know, because that was the thing. It was not, it was like pre-internet days. So it's like word of mouth was good. And, you know, yeah, I loved those two stores. Those, I think of them very fondly, and I wish they would come back.
The first one, where was that one at? The clothing store.
That was up by Safeway. So I
Safe.
think it's
Okay.
where like C's Candy is. I don't know if they're still there, but by Body Zone,
Okay.
Golden China. It was like in that little area right there. There was like a little pocket, and it was just the coolest store.
What was it around for a while? Like
Yeah.
recently?
No, it was, gosh, it was like 90s. I think it was
90s?
gone
Okay.
by like early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember some clothing there, and then across the street where the new Kaiser Permanente is, there was some clothing stores
Oh,
there.
that was Queens. They're still around, which is, they're amazing. That was Queens, I think, and they're still here, but they're on East Lake now, in that not East Lake Shopping Center, but the shopping center before that. And then there was the pet store. Oh, the pet store. Do you remember the pet
Yes,
store?
yes.
Oh, I loved the pet store. Going in there and looking at the fish and like all the cute little critters. That I liked that store too. And then there was the art store.
The art store,
I
yes, it
think
was there.
Yeah, was it Palace Arts? I don't remember what it was called, but and then Kelly's Books was there. That's another OG. Like
They just
unfortunately.
closed down.
I know. It's so
Yeah, I'm
sad.
so bummed. Like I went to go, talk to them, and just I was doing some flyer distribution, and yeah, she kind of like, yeah, we're closing down, and
I
it's
know.
like,
It was sad. I loved that store. Yeah, that was a great bookstore. It was a big loss for our community because it was our only bookstore. It was very beloved. But yeah, those were the stores. I can't even remember. Like I'm trying to remember what was there before Target, like before that whole shopping center. It was just like dirt.
it was dirt. I remember it was
Just a
just
big-
dirt because I still remember it being like developed and all that, like
Yeah.
driving by, and
Yeah,
Ramsey was. I think it was just all dirt.
I think so too. Yeah, it seems like a long time ago, but also not that long ago. Time is weird when you get old.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. What right there where the new library is too. That was all dirt.
Yeah, that was like a lot. I remember, like vaguely remember that there was like nothing there.
I'm hoping to soon like go through the archives of Watsonville and post up some pictures of the old times. And if anyone has any old pictures of Watsonville, through the years that things are being developed and just land, just shoot them over. I'll post them up. But yeah, man, I remember. Do you remember what was it? Woolworths?
Yes, I would go there with
and
my grandma.
Ace. Yes. Oh my gosh, that was the best place I've ever eaten.
Yes, I remember my grandma. Like I would go to church with my grandma, and she'd be like, "Vamos a Woolworths." Like okay, so we would go to Woolworths and walk around in there.
Yeah, my dad would take me all the time. I remember eating milkshakes, and that whole like diner experience right there in the middle of the store was special.
Definitely. Yeah,
and
that's
he would stop taking me because every time he went, it's like, dude, you want to go get a hammer and you want fries? I'm like, what can what do you expect? Like,
I'm a
it's
kid.
great, yeah. It was great. And then, do you remember Ford's? Was that before you?
Gottschalks, I remember.
Gottschalks, okay.
Gottschalks. I don't remember Ford's. I think that was before my time, but I definitely remember Gottschalks is another one that was also very cool. And I would go and I would look at the Clinique counter. And I couldn't afford anything at the time. And I was like, and it was all the cool girls. I remember Gottschalks, yeah. And they had a really good toy department, I remember. Like, I remember when The Hunchback of Notre Dame came out and they had all the toys, and I got the Esmeralda doll. Oh, that's something we can talk about. I'm a nerd and I collect dolls.
Okay. This is new. This is new for me.
Yes, but I remember they had a really good toy section, and my mom would let me and my sister and my brother like wander and just look at the toys. Yeah, that was good times.
Wow.
And Kmart. Oh,
Oh
Kmart
yeah, Kmart.
had the best toys for sure.
Kmart before Target was a spot.
It was. It definitely was. And they always had the sales.
Yeah. But now Kmart was shut down, what, 2000, before the pandemic a little bit?
A long time ago, it seems like.
Yeah. And it is now
Vallarta.
Vallarta's. Have you been?
I have.
Oh my gosh.
I went on opening day.
Yeah.
And bought some food because I didn't want to cook.
I went 3 times on opening day.
I went twice.
It is an experience, and this is not promotion for them, okay, unless you guys want to kick down a little something, but it is. I went in there, the lights were bright, and they have everything
Yeah.
that you could think of
Yeah.
for a Mexican restaurant.
it's
a
great.
Mexican place.
It's great. Yeah, no, I love it. I went to the one in Salinas to check it out, and I was like, I'm excited. I'm going to be shopping here.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good addition, and the food is really good.
I have a quick question,
Yeah.
About Vallarta's, and want to get a little bit into the politics of it.
Sure.
Do you think that's going to affect smaller shops?
I think it's maybe different customers. I hope it doesn't affect the mom and pops because those are like the cornerstone of our community. But I think that they definitely offer something different. Like you can't get sushi at some of the smaller shops,
Which I had.
Yeah, and it's good. So I think there's maybe like some different products. I think maybe the same customers because I know like personally I'll definitely not stop shopping at little places that have the things that I want. So I hope it doesn't. That's always a concern. Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I walked in, it's like something about the lights that just drew me in. And it was so overstimulating.
Yeah, I could see that. And it was packed.
Yeah.
I went at like 6, 7 o'clock and it was still packed. So I can see it was definitely overwhelming.
What I do like is that there's traffic flow now there. Because for the longest time, it was just shut down.
Yes.
So there's a lot of traffic flow there.
It's alive again. I'm like, I have not seen this since like 1993. This is wild. It was very cool to have some life infused into that shopping center.
Yeah.
'Cause it's been dead for so long.
What is it for a business like that to come into Watsonville? What is that process like?
It's a process.
Like, how long did it take them to like get approved and jump in there? Like, when did it come to your table?
Let's see. I think it came to me in, I want to say December because I had just become mayor. So December of 23 is when we started making arrangements to meet, I believe. So that's kind of when it was on my radar, and we went over to the Selena store and we met with the owners who are really, really nice people. And once I met them, like I was kind of skeptical because I was like everyone else and like, oh, do we need another grocery store? But once I met with the owners and I saw the store and I tasted the food, I was like, yeah, we need this. And there's a little surprise. There's something, I don't know if I should spoil it, but there's something still in the works at Vallarta that I personally advocated for.
Okay. Maybe we could talk about it off camera, don't want to spoil it. I mean, this episode's going to drop in a couple weeks, so
Yeah, and it's still in the works, so I don't want to spoil it yet, but there's something very special and cool about our Vallarta location
Ooh.
that's still coming. But yeah, I met with them and they were just really nice. They're very involved in all the communities that they, have their stores in, and they were actually there working. They're really nice people, and I guess getting back to the process, the way that it goes is usually comes to planning commission first before it comes to council.
Mhm.
And there's all kinds of like paperwork and things that businesses have to fill out. They have to fill out really extensive
Mhm.
applications and things like that with our community development department. And then it goes through the planning commission. The planning commission makes a recommendation. Then it comes down to council, and then we say yes or no. So that's kind of the process.
Mhm.
A lot of people ask me, well, why so many Starbucks? Why so many this? Why that? They're like, I think people think that council has like veto powers. Like we can say absolutely not,
Mhm.
and we kind of do, but we kind of don't.
It's more like a recommendation.
It's a recommendation because I mean we can't, if a business is meeting all the criteria of the application, we can't really deny them
Mhm.
because then we get sued and
Yeah.
that costs us a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean we
We have
could,
to have a
but
legit, like a solid reason why we
yes,
don't.
like a really, there has to be something really big to where we wouldn't, like a hazard or like health or something that why we wouldn't want it, like a legitimate reason. Because if the business meets all the criteria, like we kind of have to let them
Mhm.
do it because there's laws and things like that. So, um, yeah, and we are a charter city, so we do have kind of control of things. So if we wanted things to change, it would have to be changed in the charter. So we go by what the charter, and the charter is sort of like the constitution for our city.
Mhm.
So it's kind of wild to think that we have our own constitution, but we do,
Mhm.
and that's our charter, and we have to go by that. So that's the process.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what was it a couple years back? That gas station, that Starbucks off of Riverside, is that city limits on Lee Road?
I think so. You're talking about the one like way out by beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's interesting because I think that's owned by a family, a lot of that property. So if the family wants to develop it, they can. But I know like the lot across the street, like the Redmond lot,
Yeah.
that would have to be annexed. So some of the properties aren't necessarily city, but they're not necessarily county. They're sort of like unincorporated, which I
Yeah.
guess is technically county. But if they're owned by someone, it has to go through like this whole annexation process. I've never done that, but I
Mm-hmm.
hear it's like a tedious process.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Because I have again conversations like with people like over the years, like, man, wouldn't it have been great to have an In and Out there?
yeah.
Have you ever had that like with
I am
people?
working on it, people. I love In and Out. I have publicly said in meetings I will be there every weekend if they bring. I love it. Yeah, I mean, well, that little parcel. So that is an interesting case because when the whole Measure U stuff was going on, um, there was a compromise that came to council, basically saying like, okay, well, we'll keep the urban limit line, and then we'll give you this little parcel where like the Redmond house is and
Mm-hmm.
all that, and you can develop that. Ultimately, council wanted more than that, so we rejected the compromise. The majority of us rejected that, but that would have had that gone through, that would have gone through that and been able to develop. But again, because that family owns that, they can kind of do what they want. So
Yeah.
if they
Yeah.
want to bring businesses in and, like the hotel and all of that stuff, they can do that. It's just a process
Yeah.
that I'm not really well versed on it because we haven't done it. But,
Yeah.
and that's how we would bring that. Like, it's really up to the people who own the parcels of land to develop it. And that's another misconception, I think, is that people think, oh, the city owns all this land. Why don't they just build? Like, we
Mm-hmm.
don't. We actually don't.
Yeah.
There's like very few places where we can actually build. So,
Yeah, and that's why I tell people a lot. And I mean, there's moments where I have the same frustration. Ugh. But yeah, it's about like educating yourself and learning, the do's and don'ts of the city and what they're able to do. And if you're listening, owners, to this episode about that land, please, In and Out. That's just all we want. Why travel 30 minutes when we could just go across the street and just you're gonna get business.
I have a wish list. I want In-N-Out. I want Ulta. I want Nordstrom Rack. That's my wish list. That's my big three.
I wouldn't mind.
Trader Joe's. I would love a
Oh
Trader
my
Joe's.
gosh, yes.
Love a Trader Joe's.
Yeah. There's, you know what? Trader Joe's has some really good stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do. I hate to cook. I can cook. I can cook, but I hate to cook. So I love Trader Joe's because I just buy little packaged things, which I shouldn't do, but I do.
Yeah. So Trader Joe's. I wouldn't mind a, what's it called? Dutch Bros.
Oh, is that coffee?
Yes.
Yeah, I've never had it. Is it
No.
good? No.
Ooh, definitely check it out.
I'm not a coffee. This is 7-Eleven coffee.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. I'm a necessity coffee drinker. I'm not a coffee snob.
Well, you know what? They
I
have
can be
other
persuaded.
stuff too. There's like orange creamsicle, icy kind of thing that I like to get.
That sounds good.
And if I'm not mistaken, your first. No, never mind. So I went to Bend, Oregon, where it originated at. Not Bend. I forgot. It originated in Oregon somewhere, and the location where the headquarters. If you go and you tell them it's your first time, they give you a free one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. So Grants Pass, that's where it was. Yeah. So, but definitely check it out. I like it. I wouldn't mind one here. You know, it definitely. I think it's better than Starbucks. So.
Yeah, I'm not. Starbucks is like whatever. It's
Yeah.
Starbucks, but we do have some local places that are really, really good. This coffee.
Yeah, this is true. So,
Yeah.
what is your favorite local coffee shop?
I think Coffeeville's pretty good in Eastlake because it's close to my house, and yeah, they've got a good French press coffee. Really good. I do like when I have coffee. I want it to like make
Yeah.
me wired. So there's always does a trick.
Yeah, I like Honey Lux. I started not too long ago to check it out, and I'm like,
I
okay.
haven't tried them because they're
No?
far from me.
Uh-huh.
So I like to stick close to home.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Like, I like my coffee black, like straight.
Yeah.
You know, the added sugars is just not my thing, so I just drink it and I'm like, okay, not bad. I like it.
I'll check it out. Yeah, I'm just never in the area, but I have heard really good things about them.
They have a breakfast bagel. Shout out to Honey Lux. Oh my gosh. So it's a bagel, cream cheese, guac,
Ooh.
strips of bacon, and a poached egg.
Oh, that sounds good.
So good.
That sounds really
That's like my
good.
favorite bagel spot. Like bagel.
I'm more partial to a breakfast burrito. So I go to Beach Street.
Oh, okay.
That's my favorite burrito. I eat it every time I go there. I'm like, give me the burrito.
I live walking distance from there.
Oh, do
yeah,
you
I
like
I
it?
live on Second Street, and I just sometimes I just walk
I
over,
love that place. It's so good. One of our best local places. I love that breakfast burrito.
and it's big too. Like they
Yeah.
give
Oh, yeah.
you your money's worth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's really, really good. And I eat that. Like, I'll have half of it and then half of it for dinner because it's huge, but it's delicious.
What are your go-to spots in town? What are your favorite spots? Like what do you crave the most? You know, and where do you enjoy going?
That breakfast
Yeah.
burrito. That's one of them for sure. Let's see. Where else do I go? I like Strawberry Patch is pretty good. They have like nice, good sandwiches. Where else do I go? I definitely like those two. That breakfast burrito. Oh, Tacos El Jerry. I go to a lot because it's by my house and it's delicious. Let's see. I used to go to the Bean, but sadly the Bean's been out of commission for a while.
Bean come back.
Yes, please hurry up with that remodel. I am dying for a burrito. Yeah, that was one of my spots. A Slice Project. Oh, I love Slice Project. It's so good. It's so good. I could eat a whole pizza. No, not really. But I love that pizza. It's so good. My friend and I started like a little tradition. Like we'll do a sleepover. We'll get that pizza.
Nice.
It's really fun. Yeah, I would say those are like my top spots.
If you could bring any spot or would like anyone to open up a certain type of food.
Oh, that's a good question. A certain type of food. I like Italian. Italian would be good. I also, oh, you know what? I forgot a place. The Vietnamese place is really good.
Vietnamese, which one?
In the Kaiser Center, what is it called?
Oh, Pho Kitchen?
Pho Kitchen.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like that place
The
a lot.
banh mi sandwiches are amazing.
I haven't tried those. I get the vermicelli noodles. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
so good. But if I could bring something in, I really like Italian, so I would love like an Italian place. But I also like Burmese. Have you ever had Burmese?
No, what is that?
Oh, it's so good. So it's from Burma. There's a place called Burma Superstar in the Bay Area. It has like a cult following, and they have this salad, and it's like a tea leaf salad. So the dressing is like these fermented tea leaves, and it's really good. And they put like peanuts in it, and it's really good. So I would love a Burma Superstar. So Burma Superstar, if you're listening, come to Watsonville.
Sounds good.
It's really
sounds
good.
exotic.
It's really and they have these like shrimp. I've had their pork loin, like all their stuff is super good. It's very popular.
I would love a Filipino restaurant.
Yes, there's one. I used to live in Oakland. There was one down the street from my apartment. It was bomb. They had the best lumpias.
Yeah, because we have a little two small Filipino shops, right? And then the one near Watsonville High used to serve lunch. So students would go over there. I'd go sometimes, for lunch, and they have lumpias, they'd have rice, they'd have pancit, they'd have adobo.
Adobo.
Yeah, but then they stopped after the pandemic, and it's only like catering if. But there's a huge population of Filipinos here in Watsonville, so I'm like,
I think it would be
guys,
popular.
come on, just open up a store or something.
That's a business opportunity right there.
I mean, I would go, and I'm like always seeing these things in like the Bay Area, and I'm like, no, I mean, I could travel, but like, someone please just open up a Filipino restaurant. Like, I'd be there every weekend.
Yeah, I could see that would be very popular here, and I would definitely go for the lumpias.
Yeah. So I'm hungry right now.
Me too. I'm chugging my coffee thinking of that breakfast burrito.
Might have to go get one right after this.
Yes, I'm down.
So you said that you lived in Oakland. After high school here, did you go off to college? Did you
Yeah, okay. I like to tell this story to the high school students because it shows that your plans can change and it's totally fine. So I didn't go to Watsonville High. Boo! Yeah, I know. Okay.
Where'd you go?
I went to Aptos. So woo! Aptos High, go Mariners! But I did go to Watsonville like during the summers. I think if I went to Watsonville, I would have like ditched, and I would have been really mad. So my parents were like, "No, you're staying at Aptos." But all my friends were at Watsonville High, so I was like a loner at Aptos. Anyways, that's a side story. But I wanted to move to San Francisco when I was in high school. So I applied to San Francisco State, and I was not a good student, like, until my junior year. I was just like, I don't care. I failed a bunch of classes. I did really poorly. And then, like, something clicked in my head, like, junior year, and I was like, you know what? If I want to get out and see the world, I'm not an athlete. I'm not getting no scholarships. I need to, like, work for it,
Yeah.
So then I started doing really well in school. And then I applied to San Francisco State. I got in.
Oh, awesome.
And I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. I was like, gonna go live in San Francisco and be super cool. And my mom and I went up there. We toured. We did the little tour for students, like admitted students. And then there was a little paper that you had to put in for housing. You had to pay a deposit. So I did that. And then my mom and I came back. And that week after we went up there, I got a letter in the mail that said, unfortunately, we are going to rescind our offer.
Whoa.
And give it to a more deserving student because your SAT scores weren't that great and your grades weren't that great.
Wow, what a bummer. What a blow.
Yeah. I mean, when you're like 17, it's the end of the freaking world. So I was like really upset. I was like, oh my God, it was the end of I'm very dramatic. My best friend says I'm a theater kid who never did theater. She's like, you're a theater kid who never did theater. So it was dramatic. It was like the end of the world. And that happens, and it doesn't happen often that they will rescind that, but it happened to me. So it's like a real thing. So keep your grades up, do good on the SAT score, but they might kick you out for someone else.
Stay in school, kids.
But I would like to say joke's on you, San Francisco State, because after that, I sort of like, it made me realize like you can't slack off. You actually have to work hard. So I went to Cabrillo. I worked really hard. I got a scholarship and I got a free ride to Berkeley.
Wow.
So I actually, not only did I get it, my boyfriend always laughs at me for this, but not only did I get into Berkeley, but I got like a clean sweep. So I got into all the UCs that I applied to.
Awesome.
So I worked really hard, and so I became, a really attractive candidate because not only because of my grades, I also want to tell students this, but because of my extracurriculars. So I
Yeah.
have a really long history of like working in the community, doing community work, doing volunteer work, and that was really attractive because my whole reason for wanting to go to school was to come back to my hometown and make it better. And it's crazy to me sitting here being mayor because I'm like, hopefully I did that. Hopefully I can check that off of my goals list. But
Well, I think you did because like I said, like the fact that I told people that I was going to have you on the show got them excited.
I'm so happy.
So that means that you're doing something right. You're
I
making
hope
a
so.
change,
I
know?
hope so. I really, that's really why I got into this. But that's sort of my story about how I, went to college, and things can work out a lot better even when you have setbacks. Because I was completely devastated, but I ended up going to Berkeley, and I love Berkeley. I mean, it was great. It was really hard, but I learned a lot, and I really, really loved it. So
Yeah, I know a few people that went to Berkeley.
go Bears.
I went to Berkeley as a high school student for like a summer football camp.
Oh, cool.
So I was there for a week, and I fell in love with the school. Like I toured around, and I checked it out. I'm a sports kid, so I loved it. And that was always my goal to go to Berkeley. But things change. Like you said, like setbacks, things happen.
That's life.
Yeah, and so yeah, kids like keep on being involved in the community.
Yeah.
Were you involved in the community as a kid?
I was. I mean, I did. So as a kid, like I said, I loved the library. I did lots of programs and stuff. My mom like put me in, all those types of things. But I didn't really start getting involved until high school. People really find this hard to believe, but I swear it's true. I'm a really shy person. And like I said, I didn't have the greatest home life, and my friends were all they were all really involved. And so my friends were the ones that were like, oh, hey, come to this after school program. Like, it's really cool. They knew I liked to write, and it was at the time, it was a newspaper called Shout Out. I don't know if you remember.
No.
But there was like this newspaper run by and for teens, and Watsonville had one of the highest teen pregnancy rates in the country at the time.
Wow.
Which was really crazy. And so my friends and I, we went to this nonprofit, and the nonprofit was about educating, young people about safer sex. And so they would educate us as like peer mentors. And then we would go into the schools and do presentations. We would hand out condoms. We put up these condom vending machines around town. It was very controversial. And I remember I was actually in the news talking about condoms, and in high school. That was embarrassing. It doesn't embarrass me anymore, but they were like, oh my God, it's Condom Girl. I'm like, great, wonderful.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's how I got really involved in the community, because a lot of students were dropping out of school because, they would have a kid, and they would have to drop out of school to take care of their family. And we were like, listen, this is our community. Like, you should be able to continue your education, and we need to have services for those students. And we should also give people the option of, having safer sex. Like, we shouldn't demonize if it's happening. Let's make it safer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was very controversial, and probably is still very controversial.
Yeah, I think so. But I imagine at that time, early 2000s, right? Like around that time, like 90s, early 2000s, like what? Protection, like
yeah. It was very taboo to talk about, but I feel like that's changed. I hope that's changed. So I'm like, the work that we did, I think it had a good impact.
That's good. Yeah. That's awesome. What you mentioned after school programs, what kind of programs were you, like, other than getting involved that way, what programs?
Yeah, I remember there was like an art program. That's how I found out that I was really bad at art.
Yeah, same here. Stick
like,
figures.
Dang, I'm really bad at this. Which I was, do you remember GATE?
GATE? It sounds familiar.
GATE was like, okay, is called Gifted and Talented Education.
Okay, I think I do remember.
I was a GATE kid, so I was like a smart kid, which came as a shock because I didn't know I was a smart kid. I'm maybe a smart ass, but like that's what my dad called me. But yeah, I was in that. I was in GATE like in school. And my mom put me in like just different programs like that. But again, I was a shy kid, so I always had an attitude. And I think like it's hard, like, yeah, I always had an attitude because I'm shy and I'm like, leave me alone, don't touch me. But yeah, yeah. So I remember that art program specifically. I think it was like through Parks and Rec because I was really bad at it. I did. My mom also put me in another program through Parks and Rec, and it was like what was it? Like you learn like CPR. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what it was called, but like a CPR thing. And then I did swimming, like every summer. That was like my favorite thing to do through Parks and Rec was the swimming. And I had this swimming teacher. I still remember her. Oh my God, I looked up to her. Her name was Charity, and she was just the sweetest. But that was one of the programs that my parents put me in. I really enjoyed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you could bring back or start a program in the city of some sorts, what would it be?
I would love for us to have a municipal pool. I talked about that a lot. No, I think swimming's really important. I would probably expand like the summer programs and just have more like expose kids to more things
Hmm.
because that's really how you learn. Like I feel like as a kid, if you don't have someone in your life that's exposing you to all these
Yeah.
different things, you don't really get to know yourself and get to know what you like. I definitely think a yoga program would be cool. I'm a big yoga fan. I do yoga every single day. So, like yoga, mindfulness, I think would be cool for
Hmm.
kids because I think a lot of us don't learn how to like manage our emotions. We don't learn how to like emotionally regulate,
Yeah.
or we learn things that are maybe like maladaptive behaviors. Um, so learning how to like soothe yourself, learning how to calm yourself down, learning how to like deal with stress or deal with anger, I think would be really a really great program. I kind of conceptualize something like
And I
that.
agree with you because the exposure, right, to things. It, in Watsonville, I feel like there is a sense of maybe some people might get offended by this, but a basicness.
Mm.
I call it Watsonville basic, and what I mean by that is like kind of doing the same thing and not exposing yourself. And I know it's not it's the youth's fault, you know. Um, Sometimes as parents, but like also as a city, I feel that it's our responsibility to find a way to offer things like that. And I don't sometimes I don't s- I, f- I don't feel like the city has that in mind. You know, I think their priorities a little bit shifted and don't focus much on stuff like that, like the little, like you said, yoga, a mindfulness program, you know. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but like, why is that? Why is it that as a city we don't prioritize youth? We prioritize younger ones because there's like young programs from like elementary schools, right? But I feel like there's a gap between elementary and senior services. It's that middle school and high school that's just like there's a gap there. There's something's missing. Why is it that we're not doing that? And I've noticed that even way before. You know, I got involved with the city and everything myself.
Well, I think it comes down to one word: money. No, I think that like as a city, I think that the city is focused on. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, right? Like we got to make sure the garbage is picked up. We got
Hmm.
to make sure that the pipes are working. We got to make sure, there's all these other like municipal things, like those kind of things that I think the city is focused on, which is good, right? That's great. We should have running water and flushing toilets and
Yeah,
garbage pickup. Like
the
we
the
should have
needs.
all
Yeah.
those things, right? But I think yeah, sometimes I think we don't do the best on the human aspect.
Hmm.
And I think, yeah, I mean, I would like to see us have more internships. I mean, we do. We have like summer in the
Hmm.
city, we have things like that. But I think it just comes down to capacity.
Yeah.
I think we just don't have the staffing or the capacity to do that at the moment. I wish that we would at some time, like some point in the future. That would be really cool if we had like a, internship program that like was youth run and then the youth graduates run it the next year or
Yeah.
something. I envision something like that. That would be
Yeah.
very cool. But I think that those are the kind of the challenges. But I think it's important, right? I think it's really important to change the narrative. Like one of the things that I was told was like, oh, if you want to be somebody, like you have to leave Watsonville. Like have to get out of here. And there's like a sense of like I got to get out of here,
Yeah.
And that's really sad. Like
Yeah.
that's not a message that we should have been taught. But so many of my friends, we were told, yeah, you got to leave to make something of yourself, and I don't think that's true.
I think to a degree it's true. Because I feel homegrown is I love homegrown people. I love the fact that the fire chief, that the the police chief are homegrown people.
Yeah.
You know, um, but I've also been in situations where like born and raised, I know my community.
Hmm.
I get passed up. For opportunities because they decide to bring someone from the outside. You know,
Yeah.
to positions that are like, well, they're an outsider.
Yeah.
How do they know what Watsonville needs or what, that dynamic.
I definitely do. And that was one of the questions that I got when I was campaigning. Well, like, are you from here? Yes. I'm
Yeah.
People don't believe that, but yes, I'm Lincoln Street girl through and through.
Yeah.
Um, I think, yeah, I think it's very challenging. I think we have a lot of talent in this community, and I think you're also right. Like, I think the message that I would give to students and that I told my high school students was like, leave and come back, right? Once you go out and see the world, you will see all the potential and all the things that like we could do here if we wanted to,
Yeah.
And I know people get annoyed when I bring up Oakland, but like Oakland does a lot of stuff right. Like Oakland does some stuff that we should be doing. And so I always sort of look to my experiences and living in different places that, well, one place, Oakland, on like how we can do better here. And so I think you're right. Like I think it is necessary to sort of leave, but also come back. And I think that sometimes, there are people that don't want to leave Watsonville,
Yeah.
that have never left Watsonville, don't travel, don't want to travel. That's their prerogative, but I think it's good to see the world. It's good to see and experience different things, and it can be scary, but it's gonna make you grow as a person.
Last year, I left Watsonville for the summer. I started working in Sunnyvale for the Parks and Recreation Department over there, and I saw my eyes opened up. Right, they do things different, and it's a different experience. And um, the trainings that I went through, the kids, it's the way they run it is like, whoa, it's an eye opener, you know. So I try to take what I learned over there and bring it here.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's gonna work, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes there's a lot of politics that goes into that stuff,
Yep.
But yeah, if you do go out, I travel the world, travel. I mean, try your best, and that's why again, like I say, don't be Watsonville basic. Go to Santa Cruz, even if it's Santa Cruz, just go to an event over there. Experience something. Don't do the same thing that everyone does, because I feel like I said, there's like a cycle, that happens here in town, and people don't want to branch out.
Yeah, and I think that happens with communities when it's like really homogenous. Like we're a pretty homogenous community. We do have a lot of diversity at the same time, like we do. And Watsonville's really unique in that we're Watsonville folks. Like everybody knows everybody, and it has that small town feel, which has its good and it has its bad.
Yeah.
But I think, I think it's necessary to see how other places do things. And
Yeah.
to grow, to change your mindset. Go to Europe, go to wherever you want, like the furthest place you can think of. Go there, go explore, and come back and bring those ideas home. That's important.
Speaking about Europe, you just came back from Europe.
I did. I did. I went to the Netherlands. That was intense.
Yeah, let's talk about that. How was the flight?
The flight actually was pretty good. The flight was actually pretty good. It was long. It was really long. It was like 10 hours or something.
First class?
12 hours. I wish. No, I'm in economy. I was right next to the bathrooms.
Oh, snap.
I'm in the back. So yeah, no, the flight was long. We flew to Paris, and then from Paris we took I think it was like 10 hours to Paris, and then a couple hours to the Netherlands. and we rode bikes.
So, did you go for work? Did you go for?
I went for work, yeah. So Ecology Action is really cool. They're a very cool organization, and they had this idea of like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we took like all these local people to the Netherlands to see how they do their infrastructure? Because the Netherlands is like known for their safe cycling,
Yeah.
and their streets are pretty safe. And so they dreamed this up, and they got the funding, and they applied for it, and they were able to take a delegation of like 30 plus of us.
Wow.
It's a huge group over to the Netherlands to work with the Dutch cycling embassy there. And so a typical day was we would get up really early and we would hop on the train. We would go to a location and then we would do they would like kind of lecture for a few hours and then we would just go ride bikes around the Netherlands for like 10 plus miles. Which my dad has always tried. He's a big cycling enthusiast. I am not. I'm terrified of being on a bike. So I'm like, did somebody get film of me? Because my dad is not going to believe that I did this. And they're like, don't worry, we got you. But yeah, that's why we went over there to kind of see like what infrastructure we can bring back and how we can make our streets safer. And that was really important to me because that was one of my platforms. Because I live on Lincoln Street. People speed through there. It's crazy. There's like accidents in front of my house all the time. So I'm like, how do we fix that? And the way that the Dutch do things is very different.
Yeah.
And they really design and govern with people first. It's very people centered. It's like, we need to keep our people safe. We need, as opposed to the United States, where what we do here is like profit. It's money.
Yeah.
It's, it's profits first.
Show me the money.
Yeah. And so when you shift the mindset from the money to the people, things drastically change. And we saw that in the Netherlands. It was really cool to see. So I hope that we can bring some of that back here.
That's awesome.
And I wasn't scared. Like, I was a little scared in Rotterdam. So Rotterdam is more like an American city. It was really big. So that was kind of scary. But after cycling in Santa Cruz, like, it was way easier in the Netherlands because I was terrified. And I actually used to ride my bike in Oakland. So I had a bike back, in my 20s. I was like really poor. I worked a retail job. I couldn't afford, there was no Uber. There was none of that. And so I had my little bike and I would ride from Oakland to Berkeley to go to work. And I actually fell off my bike. I have a scar on my face. I don't know if you can see it. But so I'm scared of bike riding because I'm an idiot and I fell off my bike. But it was not scary in the Netherlands.
I took some kids for my my job, Watsonville Pal, to do some bike riding during the spring. Went to Monterey Marina, like that whole
yeah.
It was so hard. I'm like, I got this. But this bike riding, right? It's no big deal. Oh my gosh, you get such a workout.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like maybe like 5 minutes in, like, do I need a break?
Yeah.
Like that's
Day
all.
three, we were tired. They're like, we're bringing the e-bikes. Don't worry.
So you went there for work. What is it that you do? What's your job?
The mayor.
So you're full-time mayor? Like, you don't have...
Mayor is like 24/7. So that it was for my mayoral role.
Okay.
But in my day job, I work at UCSC.
Okay. What do you do at UCSC?
I do like office management.
Okay.
I manage the office. I have some student employees that I oversee. I'm basically like the first point of contact when you come in. I like know everything and, which is really good because I'm a big old chismosa. No, I just like help the students, direct them. I help our advising team. Just hang out with turkeys all day. I really love my job. It's really fun.
Well, I mean, you're out there in the forest, like you got shade. So when
It's
on
nice.
hot days, I'm sure you're just like, all right, well, I got some trees covering me up and everything.
We're out in the redwoods, yeah. So I do that. I was a adjunct professor for a really long time. So I worked at Hartnell for like 4 years. I worked at CSU East Bay, Cal State East Bay, and I taught public speaking for a while.
Oh, really? Shy girl teaching public speaking.
I know. It's very true. Yes, I do not like speaking publicly, but all the tricks that I teach, I'm like, you guys, I use these, so use them. So if I can do it, you can do it.
I love public speaking. I know.
I hate it.
Do
you want my job? Run for mayor.
Well, actually, like I had spoken a couple episodes before. Like I thought about it.
Do it.
This was like 2019. I think the District 1 was gonna be up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna do it.
District 1 is up.
Yeah.
Just saying. This year.
I don't have time. Yeah. I have so much on my plate right now. But I thought about it, let's do it. I hit up my friend to be my campaign manager. But then, pandemic hit, everything. Just things did not fall in place for me. But one day, who knows?
Well, if you ever need help, I'm happy to help you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We need young folks to run. We need to push our city forward.
Yeah.
I really, really believe that. We need people who are not politicians.
Yeah.
I'm not a politician. When people call me a politician, I'm like, what? That's very weird. I'm still getting used to the
Just a
label
small town girl.
mayor. Yeah, just a small town girl living in a lonely world. Took the midnight train. But yeah, I think we need more regular folks to run because it's not, the system isn't really set up for regular folks. And it's really hard because I have a full-time job. I work 9 to 4. And people always want me to come to these events and they're like, oh yeah, it's like 11 to noon or 11 to 1 or like 10 to 5, whatever. And I'm like, I work a day job. Like I am not a rich person. I work a day job. I have to have a day job because our salary is very low. I love talking about that. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I was going to jump into this whole mayor thing, the salary thing.
Let's do it.
So, what is a typical day for like a mayor? Like, there's all these things that are happening. The fact that you're taking time right now to kind of have this conversation with me, I mean, thank you, because I'm pretty sure
I just needed a coffee.
I know there's some events going on right now, and people, they expect to see,
Yeah, it's a lot. I got a good introduction last year when I was the vice mayor, because the mayor would just like text me or call me and be like, hey, I can't make it, can you go? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm doing my duty. But now I'm the mayor, so like now I have to be there. And I get a lot of requests all the time. So a typical day for me is I get up, I drive to work. I sometimes have phone calls on that drive. Sometimes I have meetings on that drive. So I have literally no time. Sometimes I will have to do double duty, so I'll be doing my job and also be on a meeting like a Metro meeting. I'm on the board for Metro or RTC or something like that. I answer emails when I can. A lot of people were getting really frustrated because it takes a long time to answer emails, but I get hundreds and hundreds a day.
I bet.
And I have multiple emails, and it's a lot, but I try my best to answer. And if I can't answer, I will direct it to staff and have somebody try to reach out to people. So I'm doing that while I'm doing my day job and overseeing things at my work. And then usually I'll have meetings in the evenings. So I'll have phone calls or meetings. And sometimes I will go straight from work to a council meeting where I have to go and oversee the council meeting, and it's a lot.
So on days that there's a council meeting, right?
Yeah.
You don't take the day off?
I wish. No. On days that I have council meetings, I go to work. I go in early.
Yeah.
So I only do 8 to 2 that day. And then I will prepare. There's stuff you should read. But the Friday before the council meetings, I will meet with our city clerk, our city attorney, and the city manager, and we'll go over the agenda. I don't set the agenda. The city manager sets the agenda. So we go over that and then make any last minute adjustments. So I'll do that on Friday. And that's usually on my drive home. And then Tuesday, like I said, I do an early day, so I get up early. I try to go to the gym. I'll be honest, I haven't gone to the gym in a while, but I'll try to go to the gym and then go to work. And then I leave at 2. I sit in traffic. Usually I come straight to the city building. I'll get my mail. I'll answer some emails. I'll try to do a little bit of yoga. And then I do the meeting.
Wow. And you those meetings sometimes go very late, like 10, 11.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they go really, really late, so it's very tiring to get up and have to go to work. I luckily I go in at 9, but I know some of my colleagues have to go in at 8, and I'm like, ugh, that
Wow.
sucks. So that's why we drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
'Cause we're
Keep
tired.
keep on going.
Yeah,
Dang. And so you talked about salary. Do you guys get something?
we do. You want to guess how much?
$500
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah, I think it's like 525. I think for the mayor it's like an extra $100. So
Uh-huh.
I get like $600 a
Yeah.
month. Woo! They pay me
mean,
the big bucks
It's
to run Watsonville.
it's
They
a
pay me
little
the
something, you know.
it's gas money.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I bet.
It's gas
Yeah,
money.
definitely use that for that. You
Yeah.
know, is that 500 after taxes or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's very little. It's a stipend. It's not considered like a salary,
Yeah.
but we have to report it as a salary, which is BS. But whatever.
Yeah.
And I know some people were like mad at us because we raised our salary, but the reason that we did that was because the state mandated it. The state was like, this is the minimum that you should be making if you're in public office. And I know that like some council member, like previous council member had said like, oh, we should do it for free. Like, no, dude, this is a job. This is 24/7. Like it is
Yeah.
non-stop, constant. Like when the floods happened, that was 24 hours a day,
Yeah.
constant, you know. It's a very demanding job. I think one thing people don't think about is like the public aspect of it. People making comments about you, people saying mean things about you. I've been flipped off as I'm walking down the street. Like,
Wow.
it's a demanding job.
Yeah.
You're in the public eye, which I personally don't enjoy because, like I said, I'm a shy person. But yeah. So the state mandated like I think $1,200 is the minimum. So in the December election, whoever gets the seat, they and the continuing council members, they'll their salary, their stipend will go up to 1,200.
Okay.
Yeah. So which is not great still, but it's
Yeah.
better than 500.
No, that's true, and I get it, right? Like sometimes it helps, you know, because you're putting in work, you know, and the fact that you're going through what you're going through, like getting flipped off in the middle of the road, you know, streets like, what did I do? I just, you know, so that's good to know. That's interesting to know, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Sarcasm.
I'm second guessing now whether I want to run or.
You know, I would say there's the good outweighs the bad.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is really, really hard. Sometimes it's really hard. People can be really mean. Your colleagues can be really mean. And at the end of the day, like you always have to just stay focused in what you're doing and just like remember why you're doing it. You know, like you're there to represent your community. You're there to represent your neighbors. You're there to fix the problems that need to be fixed.
Maybe a very tough question, but what's the dark side of being you know, behind the scenes? Like, is there a lot of personal? Do you see that there's personal gain to decisions and things that happen? You know, that's like not for the community, it's for the person.
I definitely think there are people that do that. I am not one of them. I really don't have anything to gain because I'm poor and I don't own anything. I don't own a house. I don't own a business. I do, you know, but I could see where it could be abused for personal gain for sure. And I think, yeah, you know, that's why I said I think we need people who are not politicians because the way the system is set up, it's set up for people who are like retired or like rich or don't have to have a day job. But literally everyone on council has a day job because like, how are you going to survive off of $500?
Yeah. Do you think the city council position should be a salary?
I think the mayor for sure, because like as mayor, like I said, they expect you to be everywhere at once, and it's like I can't be everywhere at once. I have a day job. How do you know? So I think that if they're expecting us to do an actual job, which we do. Well, yeah, you should get paid for a job.
Yeah.
Why, you know, nobody should have to work for free.
Yeah.
Like no one. That was crazy.
And then this is my follow-up question, and we had spoken about this during the the week, you know, does the position of mayor hold value? Does it mean anything to be a mayor in the city of Watsonville?
I've been thinking about that. I've really been, you asked me that, and I was like,
With everything that you go through, with everything that we talk about, everything that we've seen prior, you know, and then moving forward to the future, uh, does it mean anything to be a mayor, or is it just a title that gets passed around?
I think it is what you make of it. I think that for me, when I am out representing my community, I want to represent my community to the best of my ability. And I think it's important because the mayor is like the captain for a year, you know. We're all on this ship. For a year, I get to steer that ship.
Yeah.
For a year, I get to say which way we're going. And I think it will have an impact. And I think, I think I've done things a little differently than other people have. And I maybe am different than other people. And hopefully that will have a lasting impact on where I'm taking us. So I think it does. And I think it is also a little insulting. Like one of the things when I meet people, they ask me like, oh, so how did you get the mayorship? Is it just like a rotating thing? And they kind of write me off. And I'm like, okay. But also, it depends on what kind of leader you are.
Yeah.
It depends on who you are. And I think I like to lead. I think a lot of people underestimate me because I am quiet and I don't, come in and I'm not loud and I don't interrupt people and I'm not, being shady. And I try to be as professional as I can because that's how I want to represent my community.
Yeah.
I'm trying to represent my community in a way that makes them proud and that makes them feel like they can see themselves in me because I'm a part of them. Like we're, community, we're interconnected. We're all interconnected. We are all one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all one people. It's all one city, you know, we're all in it, you know, and I tell people, I'm always having this conversation and like, you know what, like we need to stick together.
Yeah.
Because like I've said before, Watsonville gets no love.
We don't.
No love at all.
No, we don't.
Finances, money, programs, the perks of being in this Santa Cruz County all stays in North Zone.
Yeah.
South, down here we get forgotten.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, that's fine. We're going to, like, to quote Dolly Parton, we're having a party 2 doors down. So if you don't know about our party in Watsonville, now you know. We have a good time.
Yeah.
We're fun. We are fun people. We have a good time by ourselves. So if y'all don't want to come here, that's on you.
Yeah.
But also, please come here.
Yeah.
We want your vacation dollars. We want your tax dollars.
Get to know Watsonville.
Yeah, and I think there's so many hidden gems that people don't know
Yeah.
about. Like Slice Project, easily best pizza in the county. Mayuki's, easily best sushi in the county. Like we have some gems here that people, y'all are missing out.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is why this show is here. Like I keep on saying, like we're gonna get to know all those people. We're gonna, have those foods. We're gonna.
And I forgot Miyuki's. I've been going there for like 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's the spot.
I barely went to Miyuki's.
Oh, it's so good.
For the first time in 2019 after all these years of living here.
You've been missing out.
And it was amazing. As fresh as I could get it.
It's so good. Yes.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, one place that's not around anymore, but I have to talk about it because it was my favorite place. La Esperanza. Do you remember La Esperanza? It's like across from the car wash, and they had this dish called camarones pacificos, and it's like shrimp with like cheese and salsa. It was so good. That was my.
Was it the one next to Trejos Carnitas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was my place.
I caught the last leg of it.
Oh, that was my favorite place. Yeah, I loved that place. But they shut down because, like, the lady, La Esperanza, she passed away. And then her family didn't want to, like, continue,
Is it open? Is there something going on there? Or is it just kind of like... sometimes I drive by and I see people.
Sometimes, I
don't know if it's just...
I don't know what's going on there. I guess they sold it to someone else, but I haven't been, so we'll see. Yeah, but anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, because going back to this whole mayor thing, like I said, I like the way you put that you're trying to represent. When it's your turn, you're trying to be the best that you could be. Yeah. Because you're representing the council. You're representing the city. Yeah. Because I know in some cities, the city manager is the mayor.
Yeah.
So like... I think like in San Francisco, LA, Oakland, right? The mayor is the city manager, so everything goes through them. They make the decisions, you know.
Yeah.
And so, do you think that is something that we should convert to? Do you think that would work here in Watsonville, where the city manager is the mayor? You know,
Well, the city manager has a lot of power. The city manager for sure has a lot of power.
practically all the power.
And they're really the one that is making the decisions. They're really the one that's steering the ship, right? And they do, of course, council. So council, we hire and fire three people: city manager, city clerk, and city attorney. And that is all that we have control over. I mean, we oversee things, but those are our direct reports. And the city manager does have a lot of power. So they, there's things that I don't sign off on that the city manager signs off on. For example, the UCSC, I would have never signed off on that to send the, police up there to the students while they're sleeping. I wouldn't have done that. But, the city manager can make executive decisions. They should run things by council, but they do have a lot of power because we're the city manager, city council structure. In other places, it's just the city council. In other places, they have a mayor at large. So, for example, Santa Cruz has the mayor at large. They have Fred Keeley, who's the mayor. The reason that we don't have that in Watsonville is very interesting because Watsonville was not in districts at one point. It was just like anybody can run for city council. There's 7 seats, blah, blah, blah. But they were getting the same people who represented the same demographics that, and it was always the same people. And so Cruz Gomez, she is an amazing lady. She actually challenged that and she sued the city.
Wow.
And for discrimination, right? Like she was saying this is not reflective of our actual community. And so it went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court agreed with her and said, like, yes, you need to have district elections because it needs to represent the people that you are serving.
How long ago was this?
I want to say this was like in maybe 89.
89.
In the late 80s, I want to
Okay.
say. I could be off, but you can look it up. It's like a whole thing. And so that's why we have district elections, because in theory, the people who are running are actually representing the people that they're serving. So that's why. And I think if we had a mayor at large, it would be someone who maybe has more money,
Okay.
maybe who, is not going to actually represent the public at large. So I think the rolling mayorship is cool because every district gets a chance to be represented.
Because it used to go from 4 years
Yeah.
to 2 years, and then now it's just 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know when that was made, but it's definitely hard to make a lot of change in a year.
Yeah. Well, we need a little bit more power in the council seats,
Yeah.
because for me, my thing has always been, again, you're an outsider coming in, and you're sitting at the top seat, and you don't even know what the name of that restaurant down the street from where you're at is. You don't get to wake up. You don't wake up in the morning, drive through the city to get to work.
Yeah.
You probably just hit the freeway and you get a little glimpse,
Yeah.
And that to me is like, it hurts.
Yeah.
The last one that was here, I met him a few times. He seemed like he was engaged, but and I feel like he did a couple good things, but I think that Watsonville is being used as a stepping stone. It's always been used as a stepping stone, and it's just like, at what point, people, are we going to revolt and have someone that's just gonna be here the long term, and that's just really because consistency is key.
Yeah.
Right, and if we don't have that, I mean, for the past 6 years, there's been no consistency.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of things that go under the radar, a lot of things that don't get handled correctly because, I'm here for a year, I'm here for 2 years, I'm out.
Yep. Yeah, and I completely agree, and I think that that's something that we need to be really diligent about. And I think we tried as council. We did our best. We tried to find the best candidate we could, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. That happens, but I think that I would love to have somebody who's super invested in the community, wants to stay here. I will say our city clerk is doing an amazing job. Shout out to Erwin, homegrown Watsonville person who loves Watsonville, wants to stay in Watsonville, does their best for Watsonville. And that's really what we need at the top.
Yeah.
I think, I think.
And a people person too, because I've heard stories and I've known, like in any aspect, right? Like work, uh, and just in general, right? Like being able to communicate with people, being able to connect. You may not always agree, but just being as authentic as possible and just having difficult conversations without being petty, or giving a reason why, being transparent. That's so. This is my advice to anyone that is homegrown. Right, you're gonna go off, you're gonna come back. It's great. But be a people person. Be transparent. Keep it real. Be authentic. Don't have personal gain. It's about the community.
Yeah.
It's not about how much you're gonna make, how much what you could get out of it. And I think that if you do that, you'll be okay.
Yeah. And I think I would like to add someone that can break down these big concepts to people, because like, I'm an educated person. I have a master's degree. When I started, I'm like, I don't know what the hell any of this shit means. Like, how am I supposed to? Sorry, can I say shit?
Be you. Be you.
But I think like it's really important that we give information to the public in the ways that they can digest. Because if we're giving information that's too high level, how are we gonna? The public's not gonna understand that.
Yeah.
Like, I can't understand that.
Yeah.
If I can't understand it, how is someone, who maybe isn't as educated, is going to understand that?
Yeah, because our community is there's a lot of immigrants. A lot of people that come from Mexico. A lot of I wouldn't know how to say it, but just you gotta just kind of put it. Yeah, you're right. Put it at a level where people can understand.
Yeah. Well, just in general, I mean, the United States, like, regardless of education level, like, our literacy levels are pretty low. They're like 5th grade, I think, maybe. So we have to, I mean, if we know that that's a fact, then we need to have it at a level where people can understand. Not saying people are dumb, but saying that if that's our literacy levels, we should be able to have that.
Yeah, comprehension is key,
Yeah, and if you can't understand it, then how are you going to, and I think that's something that we can definitely do better on, is like breaking things down to the public in digestible ways. And that's the communication person in me, because I got my master's in communication.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm like, if your message is not understood, then you're failing.
Exactly.
Like, that's simple.
Yep. Super side note. So, communications major.
Yeah.
Did you
communication? Yes, because there's a difference between communication and communications.
Oh.
So communications with the S, that's like the networks. That's like the technical stuff. Communication without the S, that's the talking.
Oh.
Yeah.
I learned something new. I did not know that.
I didn't know that until my first day of grad school.
Okay, because I'm always I love communications.
Yeah.
And I've taken some courses like Cabrillo and all that, and I'm like, I want to master, communications.
Yeah.
But now it's like communication. Now I gotta rethink everything now.
Communications is like the programming part. Like, that's all the technical stuff. I don't know none of that.
Yeah.
But communication is the focus on like the actual human aspect of it, and that's people don't know that. My one of my advisors for my thesis, Grant Keene, shout out Dr. Keene. That was literally the first thing he taught us on the first day. And we were all like, oh.
Yeah.
So I have to pass that on.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm all about the communication with people and environments and everything. So that's probably what I'm going to shoot for. So.
Yes, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I had a blast in my program. I met so many cool people. It was very different. Like, Berkeley was intense. Berkeley was like cutthroat. It was wild.
Yeah.
But East Bay was a lot more relaxed, and people, like, all of our cohort were so nice, and they were willing to help people, and it was great. Totally different experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Except it was a quarter system. That was horrible. That was horrendous.
That's
where I developed my coffee addiction.
That's what I hear. Quarter systems are very
brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. Yeah, would not recommend.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna definitely look into that more because like I said, I love public speaking.
You are unique because most people do not.
Believe it or not, I was also shy as a kid, but my dad would tell me like, dude, there's like something to you. Like you were shy, but you were like outgoing at the same time.
Yeah.
To where like people would think I'm weird. You know.
Oh, weirdo.
Yeah, and
I'm a weirdo. I'm a weirdo.
And so it wasn't until like my late 20s where I started breaking out of that shell. Mid late 20s, and I was like, bam, what's up?
Yeah,
I'm here.
I'm in my 30s, and I'm just starting to break out of that shell. And people don't think they don't believe me. I'm like, I'm very shy, and they're like, no, you're not. I'm like, oh, okay, I have to explain. When I was a kid, I was a pageant kid. So my parents put me in pageants.
No way.
Yeah.
This conversation is gonna go a bit longer than I thought, but list.
Yeah, so I did like beauty pageants as a kid. I'm a performer, but I think any performer knows that you have your like performing persona and then you have your real persona.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm a huge fan of drag. Love drag. Love drag queens. Love it, love it, love it. But it's because it's like it gives you an outlet to be this other person that's not you in your everyday norm. So I definitely like performing, but I'm also a very shy person. There's like two sides.
What made your mom or your parents just be like, I'm gonna put you in pageants? Or like, did you just like
them? I don't know. I don't know. I was as a kid, like I said, I like to perform. I love music. I'm a theater kid who never did theater. But I did do choir. Like I was in choir all throughout middle school, all throughout high school. So I like to sing.
Go to karaoke song?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Probably like something by Selena, Como la Flor. Have been known to imbibe a little too much and do that. But yeah, I don't know why my parents decided to do that. They just put me in pageants, and then I was like, woo, doing my little pageant wave. And
were there pageants here in town, or you guys would go out of town?
I don't remember.
No.
I was really little. I was like between like 3 and 5, I think. I was like a little kid. And then we had my sister. So then my parents had 2 kids and didn't,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I was like always a very like I live in my own little world. I'm always in my own little world, and like I think that comes out as a performer. Like you are in your own little world, and you're like performing, and everybody gets to live in your little world for a second. So I don't really know why my parents did that, but they did. Yeah, I don't know.
Smile and wave.
I did. Well, my aunts would teach me to like do the little Miss America wave, and then my Aunt Jenny. She's so glamorous till this day, and I'd watch her do her makeup and her hair, and I loved all that glitz and glitter. And when I was 9, my mom rented To Wong Fu. Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh, no.
It's okay. So it's Patrick Swayze, John Leguizamo, and Wesley Snipes.
Okay.
And they're drag queens.
Okay.
It's incredible. And it's like the best thing. So I was 9 and RuPaul is in it. And I saw this and I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to be right there. That. And so from that moment on, like I just fell in love with drag. And I was like, this is incredible, because it's that sense of like being who you want to be. And like as a shy person, it's like putting on this armor and presenting yourself the way that you see yourself to the world. And so I've always loved drag, and I'm so happy that Watsonville has a drag scene. Oh my God, that is dream come true, to be able to go to Fruition or the SLU and see a drag show and be friends with drag queens. It's like the highlight of my life. I'm so happy about it.
Shoot, I should start imagining myself as a millionaire. Maybe it'll come true. Make it happen.
Manifesting.
Yeah.
I feel like, yes, I helped manifest drag in Watsonville. We got off topic there, but I just had to express my enthusiasm for drag.
Yeah, that's awesome. Gosh, there's so much that I'm amazed, with this conversation that
a lot weirder than you thought.
Yeah.
He's trying to be polite.
But that's cool, because you're
a
weird.
lot weirder than I thought.
I'm weird, So, it just, at this time right now, I'm excited because, Nerdville's coming up, right?
Yes.
And so
I'm excited.
when this airs, Nerdville would have passed. But, to us right now, it's next week.
I
You know,
I gotta work on my costume.
yes.
I'm still deciding. I don't know. I don't know.
Let's talk about Nerdville a little bit. You know, like
Yeah.
what our conversations about off camera. You said you're excited. You're always looking forward to it. You've gone cosplaying it. Past couple years. You know,
I've gone every year.
every year. Oh yeah,
I've
every
gone
year.
every
Okay,
year. I've been there since the beginning.
okay. Well, I didn't know you the first year. I think I met you like the second year and all that. Yeah. What are you gonna go as?
I don't know. I have an idea, but I don't know yet. I'm like, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be dressed up, but I want it to be a surprise.
Okay.
So, and I think I'm giving a speech.
Are you?
I think I've been asked to give a speech.
Okay.
So, I will be dressed up. I'm still putting together my costume. Last year, I went as Ranma One Half. I don't know if you ever saw Ranma. Oh my gosh, great show. I was obsessed with it. My brother got me into it. It was so good. But yeah, last year was Year of the Anime, so I went as Ranma One Half. And then I went as, I think the year before, I went as Evie from The Mummy.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've dressed as her. And then the first year I went as Lucy from I Love Lucy.
Okay.
So those are my costumes. But we'll see this year. I have an idea, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about some stuff too. The first year I had a Batman onesie already, so I just threw that on.
Perfect.
So I'm Batman.
Perfect.
Second year, I didn't do anything. I think I just no. Yes, I went as Clark Kent. Clark Kent. Yeah. So I had the Superman shirt. I had a flannel, with the little, ready to jump out. I had a cape on, but no one saw the cape. I was like, oh, bummer.
No capes.
And then last year, I just kind of I just wore the Nerdville shirt. This year, I'm either gonna wear the new Nerdville shirt. Or I'm thinking about. Have you seen Stranger Things?
Of course.
Yeah. What's his name? What's the cop's name? The sheriff.
Hopper.
Hopper. Yes, that Hawaiian shirt that he has with the
nice.
jeans. So I think it fits. I'm not sure.
Some Hopper cosplay.
Some Hopper cosplay. If the shirt if the shirt fits.
I'm rubbing off on you. Oh no.
So I'm super excited. Nerdville. Oh my gosh.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm really excited. Last year was awesome. Last year was so much fun. Oh my gosh, it was really, really fun. I had a great time. So many cool costumes. I cannot wait for the cosplay contest. I might be judging that. I don't know. I know I'm there in some capacity, but I'm just excited to see the costumes, and it's really fun to connect with your fellow nerds. Like, it is so much fun,
Yeah.
and to do that in your hometown is like amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big old nerd. I know.
You had mentioned dolls.
It's just-
So this is great because now we get to talk about that.
Now I get to really nerd out. Yeah, so I am a Barbie girl. I started collecting when I was really little, like 2. And there used to be a Barbie magazine, and I remember in Barbie magazine I was so jealous because there were these girls that had like just Barbies galore, and I always wanted that. And I did have a really nice Barbie collection up until, oh my God, I'm embarrassing myself. Up until like high school. And my sister she was going to go on a trip to Catalina Island with her school. We didn't have money for her to go. So I sold my Barbie collection and my dollhouse that I handmade with my dad. My dad and I made this like really huge, like probably 5 foot tall Barbie house. I painted it. We, used little flooring samples. It was so cute. Oh my God. But I sold that, all of that, my entire collection. I sold it so my sister could go on her trip.
Oh, you're such a great sister.
No, I'm a horrible sister. No, I'm very difficult. But I sold that stuff so my sister could go on her trip. And then in the pandemic, everybody was getting, into their like hobbies and stuff. So I restarted my collection.
Oh, nice.
But I also learned how to reroot Barbies, which is like where you take their hair out and then you like put their hair back in. And then I also repaint their faces.
Wow.
So that's like a really nerdy thing
That is very nerdy, but that is very cool.
And then I also make dioramas. So I get like poster board and I make like little scenes. Like I did a bathroom, I made a kitchen.
No way.
Yeah. So
Do you have to show me pictures. And do you make it? Do you have like your own Instagram for that?
I do.
No way.
I do.
Oh snap!
Oh my god, yeah, I do. And then I got really into my nephew. Really likes the little miniatures that you can make. What are the Make It Minis?
Yeah.
So he got me into the little Make It Minis. So I have the little Make It Minis, and I put them in my dioramas, and yeah. So that's my little nerdy thing. A friend of mine, her daughter is also super into Barbie, and so I'm gonna teach her how to reroute and repaint. And her mom sews, so my friend's gonna teach me how to sew, so I can make Barbie clothes.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm a huge nerd. This is what the mayor does in her spare time. Is
I play with Barbies. I'm in my
boyfriend's
30s and I'm
like,
Barbies.
do you play with them? And I'm like, no, I don't play with them. I just make the dioramas.
Oh, little Barbie, we're gonna.
No, I give everything, like, once I get tired of it, I give it to my friend's daughter or my neighbors. I have, like, these little girls who are neighbors, so I just give them all my stuff and give it huge stuff with Barbie. But that's what I do. I collect Barbies and repaint them. And
Well, you know, you're a kid at heart, and that's one of the things that I've been told, and I tell people, dude, just you're a kid be a kid at heart. You don't want to grow up. Growing up's a trap. You want to stay as innocent and as kid-like as possible.
Yeah.
Because that's where we had all our fun.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And Barbie is, like, super special to me. My dad used to buy me Barbie. I was a real spoiled little girl when I was, like, 2. But by the time I was 4, once my sister came along, that was over. But the best present that I ever got in my life, I still think about it, and I'm like, oh, my God, that was so cool. It was this Barbie yacht, but it had a working blender.
Oh.
And so you could make, like, I don't know who approved this at Mattel because it had blades in it. Like, that's insane. But I got this Barbie yacht with a blender on it for Christmas one year. I was like maybe 3. And that's still my favorite gift I've ever gotten.
With the blend. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're right. What?
Like, why would you give a child the little fingers? It got recalled eventually, but
yeah.
I loved that thing. Oh my gosh, I loved it. I don't remember what happened to it, but that was my favorite gift I've ever gotten.
You gotta go on eBay and look for that thing.
I have. It's very expensive.
Wow.
I can't afford it.
Did you what'd you think about the Barbie movie when it came out?
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Loved it. It was so well.
Oh, I'm Ken enough. Yes.
I am enough. Yes, I loved it. I don't like going to the theater because I have social anxiety, but I went to the theater 3 times and I saw it. I've seen it maybe like 10 times since. I really liked the Barbie movie. I thought it was fantastic. It was great.
Fun fact. I was reading this article that they used all the world's pink for that movie. Supposedly,
really? Oh, I believe
like
it.
Insider,
it was very pink.
Yeah, everything was pink. So I think they use like 10% or like the majority of the pink in the world for that set and everything.
I believe it. That was incredible. Love the set. Love the movie. I'm a huge fan of America Ferrera. She can bring a tear to your eye like nobody else. So yeah, I've watched it many times. I think it's fantastic, and I was all about it. I'm like, yes, woo, Barbie's back. I can unleash my inner nerd. It's cool. It's on trend. Let's do it.
Hey, maybe you could go as Barbie.
I could go as Barbie.
Mayor Barbie.
It's one of the options in the works.
Nice.
We'll see though.
That is awesome. Yeah. What was it? Do you ever? You don't sell them, do you? Like you make them and sell them.
My best friend has been trying to get me to sell them, but I'm like, these are my babies. I'm not selling them. Are you out of your mind? And she thinks it's really weird. She's like, you could make bank. People could commission you. I'm like, the thing is that I'm really against the like monetization of your hobby. And I know that's super maybe controversial because that's what people started doing. But I feel like once you put that capitalist aspect into your hobby, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's
it
not,
makes sense.
it's just too much pressure and too much. So that's why I like to give them away because I give them to kids and I'm like, enjoy, have fun, rip her hair out. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Like, I want it to bring joy to people. And I feel like it will not bring joy to me if I monetize it because then it's just pressure and orders. And
it makes sense.
I like to de-stress. And how I do de-stress is I paint my nails or I make Barbie dioramas and I paint Barbie.
That's awesome.
I can't believe I'm admitting this publicly, but I am.
Hey, I'm gonna have to check
It's
out that.
Nerdville. It's
Yeah,
time to unleash your nerd.
you're gonna have to show me this. This is.
I will
pretty
show
cool.
you some of my creations.
Yeah, that is so cool.
It's not, but I enjoy it. There's a big Barbie community. There's a huge Barbie community, and there's a huge, like, adult collector community. And I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one out there.
I went to Arizona a few months back in April, and I went to the museum downtown, and they have a Barbie exhibit.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go to Arizona.
The Phoenix Museum, the Museum of Phoenix, the Phoenix, Arizona.
That is
Museum.
so cool. I love that.
I'll show you. I'll show you some pictures
Please
too. But
do.
yeah,
I'm intrigued.
They had the original Barbie.
Yay!
You know, they had some stuff from the set. They also had a pink Camaro. Where you go in there and take pictures.
I would love to take pictures.
They
of that
had like the evolution of Barbie, her friends. You know.
That's so cool.
And so I was like, I went alone, so I was just like walking around taking pictures. Like, this is neat, you know.
Yeah.
So
Barbie's an icon. Barbie has been around for a long time. I'm super into it.
Super random, but Ken, his original hair color is not blonde.
Really?
He was a brunette.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed because they picture him blonde, you know. And it's like, no, he was brunette. He had like brown hair. I'm like, oh, funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Barbie and Ken were based off of the creator's kids, and they hated it. They did not like that.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that the name Barbie is short for the name Barbara.
Yep.
I didn't even know that.
Yep. Barbie Roberts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Barbie's name.
I'm like learning so many things this year.
Barbie lore. Who knew?
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, Vanessa, this has been really amazing. You know, from being a mayor, from being a pageant girl, to going to the University of Berkeley, coming back, becoming a mayor, and collecting and designing Barbies.
Yes.
This has been awesome.
Thank you. One thing we didn't talk about, I also love boxing.
Oh, we have some time. Actually, if you have time, I got time.
Okay. Yeah. So my friend got me into boxing and was like, "Oh, come to this class." And I'm like, "Okay." I didn't really know what I was gonna get myself into. It's amazing. It's like the only place where you can hit people for fun, and people hit each other for fun, and we hit things for fun, and we break things for fun, and it's great.
What got you into it?
My friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my friend got
recently, or how long have you been doing it for?
Gosh, this is maybe like a year.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like a couple years. But she's been doing it for a really long time, and she was like, "Oh, you should come," because my job is really stressful, and I need a healthy outlet to express that. And my coach is amazing, and it's the one place where they like encourage you to be aggressive.
Yeah,
and you can get your aggression out in a healthy way. So
where do you go?
Claudio Franco.
This here in town? Where at?
Yeah, it's off Main Street. It's like kind of hidden.
Because I low key been looking at doing some boxing myself, because I kind of did it back in the day for like a month or so at the PAL boxing gym. When it was a thing. Yeah. And then that went away, and I kind of like wasn't into it, But now it's like, you know what? I need an outlet. I need that extra cardio.
Yeah. Well, it's a workout, because we're all moaning and groaning and dying at the end because coach makes us work hard. We train with the actual guys who like fight.
Wow.
And so you should definitely go check it out.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a really long time because I'm very busy this year.
Yeah.
But it's super fun. And a great workout, but it also gets you in the mental space, like the mental clarity, and you get out like all your anger and frustration in a healthy way.
That's good.
Yeah.
I did not know that. What don't you do?
I don't get up early. I like to sleep in.
Was this early for you?
This is early for me.
Sorry.
I'm a night owl. Yeah, but I'm definitely a night person, but caffeine helps get me up in the morning. So those are some of my hobbies.
That's awesome.
Barbies, boxing. Yoga.
yoga. I mean, I'm these people, everyone just got to know you so much more.
Yeah, I
And they're
know.
gonna
I'm feeling a little vulnerable. I'm like, oh no, maybe I should have said that.
People-
Maybe I should have said all that.
gonna go to the council meeting. And say,
Sometimes I feel like that. That's why I go to boxing, so I can remain professional.
what do you see? Before we ended it, but what direction do you see Watsonville going, and what do you envision moving forward?
The direction, I think we have so many amazing new businesses. I see people with so much potential. Like we have all these cool places. We have like TBH, Foreverfly. I see like more homegrown businesses. That's like what I envision. And mixing that with some box stores, I think we definitely need more options in Watsonville, but we're getting there. I think the biggest thing that I get asked is like things to do. Like if I could bring back the bowling alley, I would, everyone. Please believe me, I would be at karaoke every night if I could.
We're gonna have to go karaoke because I love singing too.
Okay,
so.
woo, karaoke. PV Pride does karaoke first Thursdays of the month at Fruition. So if you want to come. But I definitely see like I envision us expanding. I envision more things to do. I envision it making it easier for businesses to be in Watsonville because I've heard that process is a bit difficult and tedious.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's make it easier for businesses to be here that want to be here. Like we need more options. I envision just like a really thriving downtown area, more events, more things to do. I'm really big on events because like we don't have anything to do here. I'm aware. I grew up here. I live here. I know, but definitely more events, more things to do. And just, yeah, supporting local businesses and making our community just better and brighter. And that's really what I want. I want like just definitely more places to go and hang out and do things. I really want a pool.
Yeah.
I've been very vocal about my pool. I'm really excited about the arts. Like I feel like the arts is having a moment. So definitely more art stuff. And I'm more of a literary arts person. So like I would love if we have like slam poetry and
Like an open mic.
open mics. Yeah, I envision that. I think there's a space for it. I think we have the community for it. So if you're watching and you have some spaces, please make that happen. Yeah, I see good things on the horizon for Watsonville. I think if the young folks are step up and make it happen, because I think some people have this idea of Watsonville where it's still like this, crime-ridden, gang-infested, dangerous place that it got painted as, and we're still trying to escape that reputation, and that's not the truth. We're very family-friendly.
Yeah.
We're really chill in Watsonville, like
Hardworking.
Like
Yeah.
we want to go to work and then we want to come back and have a good time and relax, and that's like what we want. So
Yeah.
let's make it happen. Let's make places where we can have those spaces and have the connection, and yeah, that's what I see. That's what I hope for.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And a pool.
And a pool. And a pool. Everything.
I want to be
and
able
a
to
pool.
swim year round without having to go to the gym. Anyways.
Yeah. No, that's great. And one last thing, what advice do you want to? We could give advice to someone watching, right?
Yeah.
The community and the individual. What would that be? What would that mess? What is your message?
What's my message?
If this was the one thing you would be known for, right? Like this message. I mean, it's a lot of pressure, but like,
Yeah, I'm like,
know,
oh no. Like just in general.
just in general,
I think my message would be to heal, to take care of yourself. Heal yourself from your trauma, come to terms with it, figure out who you are and what you have to offer to the world, and then do that. I think there's so much pressure especially in a community like ours where like everyone we assume everyone's the same and it's very homogenous. Like there's a lot of pressure to live up to other people's expectations. And I would say to hell with other people's expectations. Like be who you are, the person you are, accept the person that you are, and bring that person forward and nurture and care for that person. Because that person's going to get stuff done. And that's going to be the person that people will connect with when you are your authentic self and you allow yourself to be your authentic self and you don't twist yourself to be what other people want you to be. And once I started doing that, that's when people really started connecting and like finding me interesting, which I think is really funny because all the things that I tried to hide about myself or suppress about myself were actually the things that made people drawn to me. So be yourself, you know, heal that stuff that you need to heal and be the best version of yourself. And once you do that, start picking up other people because it's your responsibility to do that. When you are free, you free other people. When you are healed, you help heal other people. And I think that's definitely, you can't go alone. You have to lift other people up. You have to bring other people with you. And some people aren't going to want to be on that journey. Some people aren't going to want to do those things because it's easy not to. But putting in that work and trying to get yourself where you want to go is worth it.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Without getting too new agey. I think that's my message.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
You are Ken enough.
You are Knuff.
Enough. Well, thank you, Vanessa, for joining me this morning.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, Vanessa Quiroz Carter,
AKA the mayor.
AKA our mayor here in the city of Watsonville. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. God bless. Keep an eye out. Till next time.